Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us on Sith Council. Thanks for joining me on Sith Council. It's me by myself today. It's going to be a shorter episode today for a lot of different reasons. One, not a lot to talk about. I'm going to touch on a couple of things, but as I mentioned before, when it comes to Sith Council, it's more of what I want to talk about and if there's anything kind of going on in the news. And I don't know. If there's nothing, I don't want to just cover stuff to just cover stuff. You know, that's the one thing I used to do in the past, and it drove me nuts. And it's one of the reasons why I didn't do the show anymore. And not liked and hurt my love of doing it. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to talk. Probably going to be short, 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. And we're going to talk about a couple different things. There's some new casting in Acolyte. There is some Boba Fett stuff. There's some rumors about Boba Fett, but it's just about more of the lead up of Boba Fett and my excitement about probably more so with TV and you know, the movies and the film and things that are coming out and what we hope to see. And as we lead up, movies, TV, all that, I'll just probably talk a whole bunch about whatevs. So hopefully you guys join me for this episode. I hope you enjoy it. It's just a little intimate episode between me, you, and that's it. So let's do it. If you haven't subscribed to us already, please do it. If you haven't subscribed on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, if you're a fan of the show, I cannot tell you how much it helps when you do it. Even if you watch the show every week on YouTube, please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or anywhere podcasts are found. Very, very important. All right, let's get into it. Let's start.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sith Council. I'm Kristian Harloff. Thank you for joining us today on this show. It's Friday, and as I said, it's I didn't even drop the later today. I don't know. Did it? Or did it drop on time? It usually drops at 4 o'clock, so hopefully I got the episode up in time. Again, not a lot to talk about. We went through all the rewatch series that we did. There's a big video game that came out, and I just did a reaction to it, and I can't even tell you the name of it. I'll tell you in a moment. Star Trek, I was going to say. You picked the right Star Wars fanatic to follow. I'll tell you that. Star Trek, I was going to say. Stupid asshole. All right. The name of the thing. The name of the thing. It was Eclipse. Right. Eclipse. This thing hit out of nowhere. This Eclipse video game. I was working yesterday. My buddy Derek hits me up and he goes, "You got to check this thing out, man." And I didn't know what it was about. And I did a little digging on it. And it was High Republic. They're pushing High Republic. They're really pushing High Republic. And as we get into the Acolyte news in a little bit, makes more sense. So I don't know what the hell the story itself is about. When you look at the trailer, I don't know necessarily you're supposed to. It's more about the imagery and the idea of it. And it's got a Dune. So that's so funny. Somebody was like, they're copying Dune. I was like, they've been copying Dune since Star Wars started. Dune was a book in the 60s, and Lucas, took a lot of Dune, and that's what they've been doing forever. So you can't start saying that now, just because Dune's a popular movie now. But either way, there's a lot of great imagery. This is during the times of the High Republic when the Jedi are aplenty, very similar to how it was in the prequels. I was texting back and forth with Jamie Costa today, he had thought initially that this took place in between 1 and 2, and I was like, no, this takes place in the High Republic era, because you see some droids that look similar to the C-3PO model. There's that shot of Yoda, who would be around at this point, younger. I think it's like 300 years beforehand. But and again, as I mentioned in my reaction video, I'm not going to pretend to tell you that I know all this stuff about who made the game and what games they've done in the past and how this is going to play and what it's going to be. I don't. I had people in the comments telling me like, you're going to love this. You're going to love what these people have done before. So is it Becoming Human or something? I don't know. Whatever the makers of this game, whoever is working on this game probably has a good track record from what I'm hearing. So it plays into it. I mean, it looks gorgeous. Again, I don't know anything about the gameplay, but it is very cinematic, and I think that's what these people are actually known for, is their cinematic look overall. What it is, and I think that what's special about this is the fact that at least they're leaning in. I haven't gotten into the High Republic stuff, not for any reason except I just haven't had the time to do it, and I haven't invested in the canon stuff the way that I used to. First, mostly because I didn't really think that there was much of a payoff to it. I enjoyed reading what I read. I enjoyed getting into certain things, and if there were certain stories I really wanted to get into, I read it. But I just didn't feel as rewarded with I didn't feel like the higher ups really cared as much about the canon stuff as much as it felt like they were just trying to sell stuff. But it seems like that's changed, especially with the High Republic, because the High Republic, they're leaning into it. And they're leaning into this thing, like the games, even when the games are coming, they just announced again another expansion for like Old Republic, which I never got into. I got into Knights Republic, obviously, but never got into Old Republic stuff. Loved the trailers, and loved the way they look. And that's kind of my point, is that I would see these trailers back in the day. I'm like, why aren't they making stuff like this in movies or, and like television? Why aren't they doing this stuff? And it's nothing like links into this stuff with like canon stuff. And this is the first time when they release a trailer like this. This is canon stuff. This is stuff that plays into the overall lore, and I think it then plays into stuff that we're going to see, because apparently the Acolyte is like the end of the High Republic, how it just kind of stops to, put a little damper into what leads into, I think, I don't know if it leads right into the Phantom Menace. I'm not sure at what time this ends, because I think that the High Republic, you guys probably know better than I do at this point, but the High Republic, I know that the first book, Light of the Jedi or whatever it was called, it's like 300 years before. So I don't know how much time passes and how much time leads into from Acolyte leading into Phantom Menace. I don't know that question. So yeah, I wonder how it's gonna work. Very curious overall, because this trailer looks, I don't know, you see there's Jedi, obviously, there's space battles, there's a kind of that figure at the end. Does that figure play into what happens into the Acolyte? Right? Because people are rumoring, and people have been rumoring Plagueis forever, myself included, back in the day, right? But the question is, how much of the Sith lore is going to play into Acolyte, which seems like a lot. But the question is, we know that Darth Bane, canon-wise, was as set up by, if you read the non-canon novels by Drew Karpyshyn, which I love, that sets up how Darth Bane wiped out all the Sith when the Sith were thriving as a full-on army. He wiped them all out because he realized that they were never going to win, because they were always killing each other, because they were always craving each other's power, and they were never going to be able to overtake the Jedi unless they created the rule of two. And this is essentially what he did. He said, there's got to be one person that has the power. There's got to be one person that wants the power. That's the way the Sith is going to strive. That's the way. We got to hide in the shadows until it's time to strike. And they made that part of it canon, at least, when Yoda in I think it was season 6 in Clone Wars, he stumbles upon the ghost of Darth Bane, and he says as much. He's like, it was the rule of two. This is what happened, and this is how it all went down. Oh man, I'm trying to figure out this stupid thing, guys. Sorry, let's make sure that this is okay. There it is. All right, I'm gonna find out who. I want to make sure that I have all of the right names in just a moment here as I get into the Acolyte. So, as we see the oh, come on, for God's sakes! All right, when we see this figure at the end, it's like, how is that going to play into the Acolyte? How is that going to? Because we know that the Sith are hiding in the shadows. We know that from even when Darth Maul tells Sidious in Phantom Menace, he said, alas, we will reveal ourselves. And they've been waiting to strike. So at what point in the Acolyte, who is it? I think what could make sense is whoever, so the casting came out that Amandla Stenberg, who played Rue in the Hunger Games, has been cast in Acolyte as the lead. The question is, will Amandla be the head Sith, who then trains the maybe Plagueis. Amandla Stenberg. So if Amandla is going ahead and trains Darth Plagueis, per se, because everyone thinks that maybe Plagueis is the one who then eventually, but why not at this point, depending on what time it is, and then if you had the Acolyte end with Plagueis being the one, and maybe Plagueis gets his name at the end of the Acolyte, and then leading into the events of eventually finding Palpatine. I don't know. Maybe not. Do I think any of this is going to happen? I have no idea. I don't know. People are rumoring. Plagueis has been rumored forever. Whether or not they're going to deliver on it, I have no idea. But I'm not sure. I don't know how that's going to play. So I know that I liked Amandla in Hunger Games. It's been a while since I've seen that movie, and we shall see. I don't know what the role calls for. So we will see how, and the question is, I don't know what they've been up to since. I haven't followed their work since that movie, so I'm not sure. But I'm very excited for the Acolyte. I think the Acolyte could be, Acolyte to me, as you guys know, if you've been, hell, the name of this show is the Sith Council. I like the dark side. I like the idea of the Sith mythology. And I don't think we've gotten the fact that we can finally lead with a Sith, and to see and because you would assume that if the lead of the show is about the dark side and Sith, that you should hear about Revan, and you should hear about Bane, or at least one of the two, and the idea of hunting down, because in the Bane novels by Kristian, there were battles between the Sith and the Jedi. The Jedi just didn't live to tell them. In Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon fights Darth Maul, and then he gets to tell the tale. So they think it was a Sith? Wait, they've been gone forever. No, they haven't been gone forever. This is the first one just really revealed himself and didn't kill the Jedi that he fought. So, curious. How's that going to play? I don't know. And I'm curious to how it's going to go. All right. As I said, it's going to be a short episode today. So before we get into the next, I'm going to talk about Boba Fett. But before I get into Boba Fett, I do want to let you guys know. And this is the thing we've been talking about on Sith Council for a while with HEADSPACE, man. A lot of times, especially the last 2 years, you have thoughts trapped in your head, and are your thoughts running around in endless circles in your mind? Happens to all of us. Because with the stress of the last couple of years, it's more important than ever to practice living healthier and happy lives. What if I told you that in a few minutes, that's all it takes to change your relationship with stress and anxiety? It'll transform your life for the better. That is the power of meditation with HEADSPACE. So, our thoughts can be very confusing. We know that. We get inside our own heads. We start thinking too much. Meditation, though, it doesn't have to be. HEADSPACE is your convenient dose of meditation, mindfulness, and sleep exercises to relieve stress. You can't relive it. If you relive stress, that's a problem. But if you relieve it, you relieve the stress and the anxiety to help you get a good night's sleep, all in one app. And this is why I love HEADSPACE. It makes it easy to catch your breath and make time for your mental health. It's very important. And it's one of the most science-backed meditation apps in the world, proving meditation works. A study proves in just 2 weeks that HEADSPACE can reduce your stress by 14%. And boy, do a lot of us need that. I believe you can change your life, so I've teamed up with our friends over at HEADSPACE so you can experience it for yourself. For me, I didn't even think that it could work. I was skeptical. Steph kept talking about it also, and a few minutes, just a little bit, I think you guys have noticed that I've had a very different approach in starting this channel. Well, thank you to HEADSPACE. Go to the mini meditations, check it out. I am very excited to find HEADSPACE. I'm very excited to the fact that you can learn to meditate. It's great. You read some of the testimonials on the website also. Find some HEADSPACE at headspace.com/Sith and get 1 month free of their entire meditation library. This is the best HEADSPACE offer available. So go to headspace.com/Sith today. One more time, that's headspace.com/Sith. Get it, I'm telling you. It's perfect. The Jedi would be using it. So, all right, let's jump into Boba Fett. It's right around the corner, man. It's right around the corner. Hawkeye's going to be ending for Disney Plus, so the new series is going to come out, and it's going to be on, what is that, the 7th or 28th, whatever that Wednesday is, for the end of the year. Most likely, the first episode or two I'll probably be doing by myself. So Mike and Steph will be on holiday, which is cool. So I'll probably be doing those by myself. But right around the corner. So I'm going to tell you a rumor that came out first. And I don't know how much of this rumor you want to hear or not. I just read it on Star Wars Newsnet. I think it was Miguel Fernandez. I'm not sure. Miguel watches this show all the time. So, and I just found that out recently. If you're not checking out Miguel Fernandez on Star Wars Newsnet, you should. Phenomenal Star Wars reporter. Guy is on it all the time. So this might have been his report or not. He'll tell you in the comments if it was. I didn't get a chance to look. I didn't do like it's a lot of times when I do the solo shows, I go through the whole thing. I put the pictures up. I do all the articles. Today is more of like, again, just to kind of shoot the shit idea of what I wanted to do today. So I didn't really do a lot of the pure research on it. So forgive me. But on this report, the rumor, if you don't want to hear about it potentially, they said, could it be this particular character coming back for Boba Fett? So you've been warned. You want to fast forward about, 5-10 minutes and do it. All right, ready? Here you go. So they wonder if Grogu's going to show up, which is interesting. Plays into Mandalorian. We know Mandalorian's got to show up, I assume, at some point. Dan's got to show up. If Grogu shows up, one would assume that Luke would show up, right? Because he's with Luke. Unless, they do that one thing where they don't want to use Luke. So they go, oh, he took a little sabbatical and he's now with Luke. He's on vacation. It's like, no. If you're not going to show Luke, don't show Grogu. There's no reason. Don't just do it just to do it. If there's a reason for it, then I'm all for it. You know that. I cannot stand, and I told you that many times, I cannot stand when people just say, no, don't put it in there. It makes the universe smaller. How is it executed? You can't just say that until it's executed the right way. Like Chewie being in Revenge of the Sith, to me, that made it smaller. It could have been any other Wookiees. You could have established new Wookiees. There's no reason to put Chewie in it. Especially when he's, there's no mention of Yoda or any of that stuff that he doesn't know about him. He doesn't play into that whole thing. It's like, it's after he's been, it was too much. So if they just throw Grogu in there because he's popular, I'll have a problem with that. But if there's a reason, then sure, why not? My bigger question is, if you're going to bring in somebody that I want to see, I want to bring in Cad Bane, man. Cad Bane makes more sense to me. Cad Bane has got beef with Boba from the stuff that they've been in the past, especially in a gangster story, which Ming-Na was on, have some interview. I don't know where she was talking, but she's talking about how this is like a gangster movie. You can feel it. You can feel it. This is the Sopranos in that space. I'm so excited for this show, and I wasn't, and I told you this. I didn't even care about a Boba Fett movie. And Josh Trank, who at the time was hot off of Chronicle, and it was like, he's doing the movie. I said, what's he doing? Boba Fett. I said, who cares about Boba Fett? A Boba Fett movie. Who cares? And they said, Boba Fett probably did this. Boba Fett did that. I like Boba Fett, but he's going to get his own movie. I remember that in 2012 when they met all these, Yoda was going to get his own movie, and then Solo was going to get his own movie, and eventually did. And then they said Jabba, they said Boba Fett, and I was like, that to me, if you don't do it, if you like, I didn't need to see. How'd you get your name? An imperial nobody gave me my name Solo. What? That kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that not unnecessary. But I don't know. Having Cad Bane come in would be it'd be something. I think that gets it. That to me makes it a bigger universe in general. So having Boba Fett have his own movie and own show now, after not being excited about it for so long, the way that it was set up in Mandalorian, the way that they set that up and set him up in season 1, then to ultimately the Robert Rodriguez episode and the way that they played it, that was, now I care very much so. So I'm pumped about this gangster this gangster vibe, feel. Is he going to survive? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how long this show is supposed to go for. You know, and I think you keep him alive because I think that what Star Wars has now done, Star Wars has their shared universe that they were looking for. I was like, oh, the whole thing, the whole 9 movies or 11 movies are shared universe. Kind of. But the way that they're setting things up in the TV show, like, for example, Ahsoka shows up in season 2, and now she has her own series. Boba Fett shows up in, you know, season 2, and now his own series. So I think that that's the power of the series. I think the series are going to serve more as the shared universe, to be completely honest with you. That's really it today, guys. I don't really got nothing. That's the stuff I wanted to talk about. I hope that next time we'll do some more questions or stuff too, going into it. But we're just leading up to Boba Fett, and that's really what it comes down to. What do you guys think of it? Let's have a conversation. I've been answering as many questions as possible when it comes to this channel in general. So go ahead and leave me some comments. Talk about what you want to talk about. Let's have some conversations. What are you excited about? Let's talk about it, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know it was a short episode. Like I said, it's only a little bit today. But we'll have a full episode next week. And that's it. Make sure you check out all our rewatch series that we're doing. Make sure you're checking out the Matrix rewatch. We're doing I'm gonna have a Spider-Man review up soon. Matrix review up soon. It's coming down. Then Boba Fett, finishing up Hawkeye. A lot of stuff on this channel. Hope you've been enjoying it. Thank you for joining me. And we'll see you on the flip side. All right, everybody. Peace.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger.